Welcome to the Hidden Bookcase. Come through and get cozy. Pick a book, your favourite book, that's the one that opens this room. Inside you'll find a warm fire, a loving cat, and a wide skylight to the stars.
And a dangerously high to-be-read pile.
I'm Morgan, I use they them pronouns, and I am the complete lack of round, gluten-free cakes in the supermarket whenever a birthday occurs.
I'm Soren, I use he, him pronouns, and I am the weird plastic base of a birthday cake candle stuck in the icing.
I'm Kit, I use he, him pronouns, and I am that one inconveniently placed chocolate star, right where you wanted to cut the slice.
We've been friends for over a decade and are always swapping books.
Usually we take it in turns to recommend one another a favourite read. Today, join us for a celebration of 3 years of the Hidden Bookcase.
So today, let's get into it. It's been so long, but we're coming back.
Exactly, oh my god.
It took me way too long to get that joke. Oh god, my Star Kid card's been revoked.
I was forcing a friend to watch the entire thing through random clips I could find on YouTube about a month ago, so it's fresh in my brain because he'd never seen it. So
I genuinely used to be able to quote every single word from that song.
well, yeah. So I was like, I haven't seen this in over a decade, and then me and my other friend, who were forcing this third friend to watch it, sang the entire thing from memory, and he was like, I'm scared. So truly thriving, never beating the theatre kid allegations.
Were you even a nerd in 2012, 2013 if you didn't have a Harry Potter musical inscribed into your very soul?
Exactly. Unfortunately. But it launched a very good theatre company, so we'll take it. Well, everybody,
We're back.
I bet you thought you'd seen The Last of Us.
Yeah, when a podcast goes on hiatus for multiple months, it definitely always comes back, right? It totally means that it's coming back for real.
Yeah. Still, sometimes I can still hear Gavin Space's voice, you know?
Don't even! That was like the second podcast I ever got into. I have such a soft spot in my heart for that show, and it has disappeared off the face of the earth.
It's coming back.
No shit,
2025. Manifesting. I'm not saying I actually know for sure. Don't believe me.
No information.
I reblogged a Tumblr post literally today that was like someone recommending you a fiction podcast, and it's like, it hasn't been updated in 3 years and all the cast disappeared in puffs of smoke, but I have faith for a series 4 Indiegogo.
I saw you reblog that and I was thinking about Spire, which hasn't been like 3 years, it's been like 2 or something, but I was like, they haven't said a word, and I'm like, please, I think about you every day. Well, unlike all of those shows, we're here, and we're back. And we're arguably a little bit more than 3 years old, because we started recording for the first episodes in January 2022.
Because we were so ahead of ourselves back in the day. We were so good.
We were very ahead of it. We were so organised for the beginning, and then that stopped, but it's fine.
It's almost like we became adults and had like jobs and stuff.
We had jobs when we started.
And also got significantly sicker.
That may have happened to both of us. But we're here.
Yay!
We're here. We're queer. We're filled with existential fear. I'm here with the sound bites today, apparently.
We've also put out more than 50 episodes now, which I feel like we should be like, yay about, because we didn't really say anything about it the first time. We just did it, and then we went on hiatus. Because we're just cool. We don't feel the need to be like, guys, we've done 50 episodes. We were just like, it's just a casual thing. But I'm saying it now.
We're like way too cool for like episode milestones. All the cool kids are just simply vibing.
We actually have different milestones, but nobody knows what they are. So
Exactly.
We're just going to randomly get excited when we get to like episode 69.
I'm so hyped for episode 324 and a half. It's gonna be lit.
Yeah, you know, I've you've said that quite a lot, so I believe you.
And we have big plans for episode 324 and a half. If we're still here, it's going to have to happen now.
I do think now that we are going to have to do some serious smut for episode 69, though.
That's a good point.
Just saying. We gotta.
We might end up doing that by chance. We'll see. Let's see. We've got a while until 69, I think, unless you count Patreon episodes, in which case I have no idea where we are. I get confused. But yes, we're here. We're 3. We didn't mean to disappear right after an American election and things hitting the fan, and I feel a bit bad about that, so I just kind of want to say sorry to the world.
Right when the fandom needed you the most, you were not here.
We were active in that Discord.
If you're not in the Discord, we've been there for a very long time.
Come talk to us on Discord.
Yeah.
Oh my god, also, as of recording this, we just finished Transcripts readathon.
We made over 300 quid.
That's incredible. I had absolutely nothing to do with it, so I'm allowed to say it's incredible.
We both managed to read a significant amount of books.
It's so funny because you guys were like really. I had a real reading slump the last couple weeks. So you guys were like, yeah, we're doing one a day, and I was like, I have 7 books on my pile that are all library books that all have reservations on them, and I've read none of them.
Ooh.
sometimes it's like, to be fair, this nearly killed me. I know Morgan reads like a book a day because you're incredible, you're very talented. However, I'm not built like that, and I was like, I'm gonna die. I'm never doing this again.
I had audiobooks on my side, and I read short audiobooks.
I did listen to a few as well, to be fair. But we made £376, which for the Americans I think is like $500. So thank you so much to everyone that donated to that. That was very cool of all of you, especially because we didn't even get to like put it in an episode and be like, how are we doing this because we're on hiatus. So
Our reach is just that good.
exactly, I think it was mainly our very cool Discord people. So again, guys, you should join the Discord so you know what we're doing.
All the cool people there. And now we're here.
And now we're here.
So today, to celebrate our birthday, shall we get to the meat of the matter?
Yes.
We should. Kit's got something special for us, and then we have a birthday cake. A hear me out birthday cake, if you will.
Dun, 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 dun.
How dead is that trend going to be by the time this episode comes out? A year? It's fine. It's going to be fun. I don't care.
Yeah. We haven't got to do it yet.
It's not like uncool if we're acknowledging that it's uncool, because then it's post-ironic, and we've come full circle.
There we go.
Love shading.
Yes.
Whoa.
And then after that, we'll tell you what's coming out after this episode, because we haven't done that in a while.
Dun, 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 dun.
But in the meantime, quiz. Morgan and I are going to fight to the death.
Oop.
There is a prize.
Oh my god,
So-
what? This is news to me. Do we know what we're competing for before we start, or is it a surprise?
I can tell you what you're competing for if you'd like to know what you're competing for.
I feel like you should tell the audience, but not us. That'd be quite funny. We take our headphones off, and you tell them.
Okay, I'm taking my headphones off.
Okay, give us a thumbs up when we're ready.
Today, Soren and Morgan will be competing for My Love, and also a set of the Raven Cycle bookmarks that I found online that are really lovely, and I hope they enjoy them.
This is so mysterious. Oh my goodness.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are we just yelling out the answer, or are we putting our hands up, or...
I think we should do buzzers, and I think each of you should come up with a buzzer sound.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
No pressure.
What's the buzzer sound? I'm just gonna stop barking.
Excellent, yes. Excellent. Morgan shall be buzzing, Soren shall be barking.
Well, I feel like I should meow then at least, because it's our brand is cats.
Alright.
Okay, I'll meow. I will meow. I'm not too proud to meow on the internet. I'll meow.
Yeah, actually all the meows where we like cover up swear words have just been Soren meowing into a microphone.
Oh my God.
Yeah, little known fact.
Trade
that's me.
secret.
Okay, I'm so ready. Are there rounds? How are we doing this?
The first round is some just a little fun hidden bookcase trivia.
Dun, 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 dun.
Starting with, who was the first guest on the hidden bookcase, and what book were they invited on for?
I already have no idea.
This was nearly 3 years ago.
Oh my god.
Morgan?
I'm gonna say India.
Wrong.
No, obviously it's not India. It definitely wasn't India.
Not India.
Meow?
Yes, Soren?
Was it Zoe, actually? Was it
It
Zoe Davis?
was! It was Zoe Davis, here to discuss...
Ticket in the Night.
Yeah.
I remember, because I remember in the outro I was like, we couldn't have had a better first guest, which is true. We love you, Zoe.
I was genuinely so surprised that Zoe was the first. I was like, yeah, no, Zoe must have been like quite a few... No, Zoe was the first.
Damn.
Yeah, it kind of feels a bit ambitious for us to be like, let's coordinate with someone who lives in Canada when we've never done a guest episode before, but apparently we were just like, whatever, confidence.
We needed Zoe's inherent Gideon the Ninth energy that hard that, like,
Yeah.
time zones, like, stopped being a problem.
That's true. Also, to be fair, I remember we were vaguely like, we might do Gideon the Ninth, and Zoe was like, I'm going to be on the show. It wasn't really like it. So we're like, here I am, and we were like, okay.
Alright. Next question. We're going to do Price is Right rules for this, so closest without going over. How many books, as of April 2025, have been covered on the hidden bookcase?
Zzz.
Yes.
45.
Okay, Soren, would you like to also give an answer?
48?
Oh, Morgan gets it because they didn't go over. It was 47.
47? Oh, I nearly said 47.
Full disclosure, this was me literally going through the Spotify episodes list and counting. So there is a solid chance I have got that
But does
wrong.
Die count as 4, and does Finding Home count as 4? Technicality.
That's a good question.
Neither of those do because I forgot that they were multiple volumes.
Fair. I defer to you on that matter.
Alright, so that is 1 point for Morgan, 1 point for Soren. Next question. One of the first, in fact the first theme that you guys did was fairy tale retellings. Can you name either of the 2 traditional fairy tales that were covered as retellings? Soren.
It was the Red Shoes, the dancing one. I don't know what it's called, and then Peter Pan.
Yay! I've got Sleeping Beauty here. I think I got that wrong.
Yeah, it's Dark and Deepest Red isn't Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, I think that was me just forgetting what the book was about. I haven't read it.
That's fair.
But I do own the Peter Pan one, which I was free reading before we started. This is more of a trivia about me than it is about Hidden Bookcase. What incredibly common Welsh word is used in the Legendborn series?
Cariad.
Yes! I reread those books and it still annoys me. It's an extremely common Welsh word. And it's treated like a deep and powerful mystery for like the entire second book.
And it is weird that Brie, she has access to Google. She does.
Yeah. She does lampshade that.
I was rereading it in preparation for Oathbound, and to be fair, she does say, I know what it means, I just don't know what you mean when you say it. Because it has several different meanings. It's one is like, it's darling, but it's also like sweetheart, it's also like love, so it's like,
Yeah.
Like, do you mean it like, oh, my close good friend, or...
My pal.
I'll be honest, I'm 3 books into the series, I still don't know. Okay. The next round is what I like to call Lost in Translation, inspired by an old Outside Xbox stream, so shout out to them. I have attempted to put book titles through Google Translate and back out again.
Oh my god, I love this idea. This is so smart.
Full disclosure, Google Translate's quite good now, unfortunately.
Ah.
Not as terrible as it used to be. So some of these are quite easy. It's more of a guess of, can people remember books that you guys have covered on Hidden Bookcase? So, the first one we have, So You Lose a War.
Bzzzt.
Yes?
This is how you lose a time war.
Yes.
Well done.
So you lose a war.
I just love it.
So You Lose a
So You
War.
Lose a War. Man, sucks to be you. I think what I did was I went either into Latin or Welsh, because Google Translate sucks translating things out of Latin and Welsh. It will hide the stars and the fires.
Stars Hide Your Fires. Meow, Stars Hide Your Fires. Do I lose a point for not buzzing?
I'm so tempted to do actually rules and be like, well, you didn't buzz in.
I would accept that. You're the quizmaster.
I'm not being that harsh. The next one. The Government Called to Memory.
Bzzzt.
Meow.
Yes.
A memory
Oh.
called Empire.
Sorry, Morgan. Morgan pits you to the post. Next one. Red and Dark in the Depths.
Bzzzt.
Yeah?
Dark and Deepest Red.
Yes.
Oh, we were just talking about it. How did I not get that?
And finally, Awake in the City.
Meow. In
Yes.
the Watchful City.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Genuinely, I was expecting these to be a lot harder than they were, and then I was just like, you know what, they're just very funny.
Awake in the City is the Sleepless in Seattle sequel, actually.
That's if you put Sleepless in Seattle through Google Translate 3 times. Okay, this round I'm calling Hi, I've got a list of the introductions from
Oh my God.
various Hidden Bookcase episodes. Can you guys remember who said it, and for bonus points, what book it was?
Okay.
Okay, I feel good about this.
Some of these I think might be easier than others. They are mostly just my favourite ones. I went through all the transcripts of various episodes to find these. So we start with, Hi, I'm Fantasy Google Maps.
Bzzzt.
Yes.
That was me, and
Yes.
it was for the one with the Marvelous Light. There we go.
Yay!
Oh my gosh, well remembered. That was ages ago.
Yeah, I think that was one of the first.
It stayed deep in my psyche. Yeah, and for listeners, I was trying to mime Cat's Cradle on the call. Not helpful to anybody.
I knew you had it in you though. The next one, a trans bead lizard.
Meow.
Yes.
I think that was me, and it was Lakelaw.
Yeah. Oh no.
No?
It was you, Soren. Morgan, can you seal the point by telling us what book it was?
It was Hell Followed With Us.
It was.
Oh my god. Oh, I was thinking of the other Abarijas in Lakelaw, which are lizards sometimes. Oh my god, well done, Morgan.
I'm not stealing the whole point. I'm just stealing the bonus point.
Yes. Yeah. No. Soren gets 1 point for
okay.
for knowing it was Soren who said it.
Fair, that was 50-50 to be fair. So...
Also, I lose a point because I wrote down God Killer, and it definitely wasn't God Killer. It was definitely Hell Followed With Us. I think I was initially going to do the one from God Killer, and then changed my mind and went, oh wait, no, trans bead lizard, it's perfect.
If I ever wake up in the God Killer universe, I will now believe in the trans people so much so that it does discover God and it becomes canon to the God Killer universe.
Yes. Next one, similar vibe. A possibly transmasculine skeleton.
Oh, now.
Yeah.
This was me, and this was the Wingraf special episode, I think.
1 point for being Soren. Morgan,
Oh my
can you
God, is
steal
it
the
not?
book?
I'm just getting random.
I love how you know it's you. It's just
And
the
I'm
book
weirdly
was the
confident
problem.
about the book, and it's not.
I
A slight hint, but the transmasculine skeleton is a main character in this book.
I was gonna say Sister Song.
You gotta tell us, I think.
It was Sabriel.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
I literally reread Sabriel last week. What am I doing, guys?
You're still winning, Morgan. I'm pretty sure ahead of me.
Okay, next one. She whose gracious presence illuminates the room like the edge shine of a knife.
Bzzzt.
Yeah,
Oh.
That's a memory called Empire, and I think it was me.
it was. I just really liked that one. I think it's just a really
good one.
really lovely one.
Yeah.
My personal favourite. Hi, I'm not a witch. I shop at Next.
Meow.
Yes.
I think this was me, and I'm pretty sure it's Juno Dawson's Her Majesty's Royal Coven.
My sound cut out from the first bit, but I'm assuming you were correct in saying it is you and
Me,
Juno
yes.
Dawson.
Yes.
Side note, I want that on a t-shirt.
I'm not a witch, I shop at Next. They
I'm not
should
a
do
witch, I
that.
shop at Next.
You'd probably have to pay Next, though, unfortunately.
Not if I only make one of it and it's mine and it's parody.
There we go.
And then final one, your Virgil leading you hand in hand into hell. I didn't even finish that one, Morgan.
Morgan knows.
It's the 9th house, and it's
Yeah.
me.
Yes.
I know. I have a Libardugo shrine.
Alright, final round. Now, normally when I do quizzes, I like to do a picture round. Unfortunately, this is an audio medium. I take into account the fact that my players may not be able to see things. So, in lieu of a picture round, in order for the audience to get the full Hidden Bookcase quiz extravaganza experience, I will be audio describing the covers of books that have been covered on the Hidden Bookcase. And you guys have to guess what I am badly audio describing.
Oh my God. Okay, I love this.
Considering we often have different editions, this is going to be really
That's what I'll say,
interesting.
yeah.
We're using the definitive edition. And by definitive edition, I mean the ones I own.
Okay.
So probably UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a terrible habit of just using whichever cover is prettier for any of our promo images, which is,
So, your first book. 2 knives are being held at either side of the cover. One facing upward, one facing downward.
Meow. Oh.
Oh, Morgan, go.
It's Stars Hide Your Fires.
It is, which is currently
Damn
being
it.
used as my mic stand.
As soon as you said 2 knives, I was gonna, and then I was like, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm too quick?
I realised I also sent you guys a photo of my terrible mic
You
stand.
did.
It's just 3 books. And this was on top of it, and I was like, in for penny. Okay. Book 2. 2 faces in profile facing each other, either side of the page.
Meow.
How are you getting it already?
I don't
I
know.
think I
Well,
know.
to be fair, what are the rules? If I get it wrong, am I out? Like, what?
If you get one shot.
Okay, I'm get Song of the Huntress.
Yes.
Yes, I knew it. I just had a weird feeling.
Damn it.
I took my shot.
You did. And to be fair, that is specifically the English cover of Song of the Huntress. The American one has like swirly
very
gold
different.
things. I'm gonna start off by describing the like hardest parts of this, and then I'm gonna work my way round to the center. The cover of the book has a border of which is silver, Art Deco inspired designs. In each corner there are 4 circles with triangles inside. At the top of the page there is a little semicircular cutout with a Roman numeral 1, or I. In the centre of the page, at the bottom, the title is written in a little arcing font, and then right smack dab in the centre is a figure in the position of the Hanged Man from the tarot cards.
Oh,
I genuinely don't know who did who
that was Soren.
first.
I didn't actually make the right noise, so
You made
that
a
was Soren.
noise, and honestly, that's what counts. Sorry.
It's book 1 of the Summoner's Circle series, which I totally remember the name of right now.
Or Morgan, if you can remember the title, you can snipe this from Soren.
Oh my god.
no, that feels mean.
I genuinely don't remember the title, so I think we're gonna have to give it to Morgan.
Oh, it's evocation.
It is.
How did that go from my brain? I'm so sorry.
Alright, final cover. And again, this is one that is different depending on whether you're English or American. To be fair, it may be different in different countries that aren't America. I don't know how book covers work across the world.
I tell you what is interesting. Well, not interesting, but a very different cover, which is terrible, is I want to say the Swedish version of Cinderella is Dead
Oh yeah.
by Callum Bayron, because that's just a white woman on the cover.
Really?
Like, straight up a white woman on the cover.
Why did they do that? Strange.
I don't
Maybe it's supposed to represent the original Cinderella.
It was supposed to
or
represent
something?
the original princess, but it was very much like,
That's like the whole thing of Caitlin Barron's books, though. It's like...
yeah,
Yeah.
that was bad.
Anyway, there's one last book cover for me to describe, and then we finish the game.
It's all to play for. I think Morgan is in the lead, so I don't think it's all to play for, but I'm gonna...
It's nearly all to play. It is quite close. We have a purple-blue gradient background with the faint silhouettes of trees in the far back. On a nearer layer. There's better ways of describing this. There is a small house perched on top of it. Sorry?
It's the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches.
It is!
Yeah.
Specifically the UK hardback cover, which is very pretty.
It is!
Oh my god, by the time we record this... No, it's been delayed again. I was about to say Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping will be out, but it's been delayed to July. Never mind. Soon, one day.
Alright, at the end of that, I'm not going to say what the points are because, again, definitely don't think I was paying attention. But Morgan is the winner! You
What does
win.
Morgan win?
Did I win because of that like point that I stole from Soren? Because if so, I think we tied.
No, you had a
Okay.
lead. I'm sure you had a lead.
You were definitely 2 points ahead at one point.
Okay.
No, you were. I'm sure that they were because we were neck and neck for a while, and
Yeah.
then yeah.
Again, if this turns out to not be right, then please don't come after me. I'm very tired.
You actually have to hunt Kit down for sport.
Yeah.
He lives at 22 Central Road.
If you would manage to actually name the house number I live at, I would have been so funny.
I don't know where you live, Kit. So,
At least Morgan
it's
got my
okay.
address somewhere. I was like, Soren definitely doesn't know. But yes, Morgan is the winner. You win my Undying Love and also a set of the Raven Cycle bookmarks.
That's exciting.
And Soren, as a runner-up, you get some Raven Cycle stickers.
Oh my god.
Cute.
I'm very excited. Oh my god, I'm so excited for the graphic novel of those as well.
Yes. Oh my god.
It's
It
like
throws
movies.
me off, but I feel like the fandom has such clear visualizations of everybody, and they're not quite what they are. But
These were I believe Fairy Loot merch, done by two different artists. The bookmarks and the stickers. And as someone who has never read the Raven Cycle, I'm assuming they're accurate portraits.
you know what you should do?
Read Raven Cycle.
You should read the Raven Cycle. But also, I don't think Maggie Stiefvater describes them very much. It's more of she describes their vibes. She doesn't really describe their descriptions.
Definitely, there's at least one character who I can look at him on the sticker and I can look at his bookmark and go, that is the same man.
Yeah.
He has blonde hair and a little smudge.
Oh yeah. I thought you were going to say Ronan because Ronan's pretty obvious.
Probably he's the similar as well. Just the blonde smudge guys just really stuck out to me.
You know, I think you would love him.
I'm choosing to believe his name is Keith.
You choosing to believe what?
His name is Keith.
His name is Noah.
That. I don't know any of these boys. I know one of them.
Well,
is
you
called Nancy.
should. I literally have been itching to reread them. Like so
Buddy
bad.
read. Okay. I think it's time for cake, guys.
Cake.
Very real cake.
Cake.
Are we gonna sing Happy Birthday?
Are we?
No,
We're not
I
going to
think
be able
I'm
to
serious.
sing Kit. We are not going to be able
In
to sing
sync
Kit.
on.
Also, I think it's technically copyright infringement. if
Oh
we do.
yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. Let's not do that. So the way that we're going to do this is Morgan and I have both picked 10. Kit is going to decide which of us is worse as a person.
Yes, because I couldn't think of any. I will say, I went to go see a production of The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe at the weekend, and incredible. If you ever get a chance to see it, it's like a musical adaptation.
We went to see it.
Excellent. So you guys
In
know.
London.
So so do you guys? When you guys went to go see it, did they make Wargrave really sexy? Because the guy we
Yeah.
had playing, and I
Yeah.
cannot stress this enough, the evil wolf had a leather kilt, no shirt, quite a lot of rippling abs, and what I can only describe as a pup play mask.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what's going on my Hear Me Out cake, is specifically that one guy.
That's so valid of you. I think I've told Morgan this before for sure, but we used to play games of like Narnia. We just called it Narnia in primary school, that were so violent that we were banned from playing Narnia, and I was always Morgan. I insisted on being him to the point that I got annoyed when other people took the role because I just wanted to be the wolf.
I don't know why, I completely forgot that the wolf even existed until, like, the guy came out on stage with the mask on. I was like, what the hell are you?
What the heck is happening
What?
now?
Hang on!
I feel like they did up the sexiness in that production. Like,
I'm disappointed that Aslan had a shirt. Aslan should not have had a shirt. They took the big fur coat off, and I was like, oh man, he's got a shirt on underneath. Cowards.
Disappointing.
he got that while he was thrifting.
Yeah, oh my god! Mako Aslan.
So we have your Hear Me Out.
Yes.
See, the problem with Hear Me Out when you're into queer media is that the stuff that would be a Hear Me Out in straight media is actively sexualized by the narrative. So it's a little bit harder because you can't be like, hear me out, because everyone will be like, I don't have to hear you out. He's in my bed. Like, what do you mean?
I've seen so many Tumblr posts where people are like, oh, you can't be, like, weird for thinking that that's attractive. And it's just, like, a triangle.
Yeah, conventionally attractive triangle.
Okay, I'll be ready, and also, Morgan, are you going first or am I going first?
I don't know. I have mine on my phone, so I need to, like a fool. I probably should have just not put them on my phone, but here we are. I haven't put mine in a particular order. It's kind of just vibes.
Okay, I've gone in order. I've tried to escalate from, like, this is
Excellent.
justifiable to this is less justifiable, I think.
Okay.
By the end, we are going to be sexualizing shades of grey, and you are going to enjoy. No, hang on, wait,
Well-
no, hang on.
I'm not sure. I feel like Morgan might have gone more abstract than me, whereas I've gone more like, this is a deplorable person, but you have to hear me out anyway.
Yeah, as an arrow-ace person, the number of inanimate objects on this list is quite high.
Yeah, you see, I think Morgan might win in just terms of pure abstractism.
I started off with a very normal person, though, so, you know.
My first one is very normal. It is literally just that he's old for me. And it is Ube, the librarian from Pet / he's also in Bitter and a Flashback. You know? There's literally nothing objectionable about him. He's amazing. He's just, like, described as being, like, old. So I'm like, he's probably too old for me.
The one thing I will say about working in a library is all your colleagues are either the same age as you or several decades older. And so you do just be like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is my best friend. She's definitely old enough to be my mother. And I would die for her.
Exactly. Or in the case of this guy from Pet, my one-night stand in this hypothetical conversation that we're having. He probably wouldn't. He would probably be like, I'm too old for you. But it is what it is. That's where I'm starting.
I like that.
That's very good. That's very wholesome. Morgan.
But using it in.
Okay, so hear me out.
Okay.
And some of you will be like, that's not fair, she's conventionally attractive. However, she's also a terrible, terrible person.
We have
Yeah.
to acknowledge personality. Please continue.
Exactly. So Ianthe Tridentarius, my beloved,
Good start.
she's like wasting away. She's got a gold arm. She wears a maid costume. Literally, and she's evil. But she
And
like
she's evil.
she's sexy about it, you know?
And
And she's
obsessed
like
with her
confident.
sister.
Yeah, she's obsessed with her sister, she's obsessed with herself. We love self-confidence.
She's the kind of person who has the line, 18, I remember being 18, she said in the tones of a bagged-out socialite. And then someone responds, you're 22.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If that
exactly.
God, Morgan, you're too old for her now. No, I'm just kidding.
Ianthe Tridentarius is what everybody who used to do low-key, like, self-cessed on AO3 wants. Like,
Yeah.
she's what they
But
wanted.
she's into it. That's so true.
She's into it. She's literally the
would.
person she loves is, like, arguably a hotter version of herself.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me that she wouldn't have her own clone.
Oh my god, yeah.
She would. She
Yeah, no,
absolutely
She's
would.
literally like, everybody, like, corpses. What do you mean? Like, she literally says that.
I feel like
So.
the only thing stopping her from her own clone is that her own clone will be so insufferable to be around that I think the two of them will put themselves off.
Yeah, I think they'd kill each other, but they'd be, like, horny about it.
They kill each other, but it'd be real uncomfortable for everyone in
They'd
the
be
room.
like, Corona, do you see how well I'm killing myself? This isn't a metaphor. That's my hear me out. That's my normal hear me out, and then we're descending into
That's your
chaos from
normal
there.
one. Your normal one is Ianthe.
Yeah, no, because that was one of the ones that I was trying to think of, like, weird things from books. I was like, Ianthe's well conventional. Everyone's going to say Ianthe. She's, like, hot and blonde.
Fair.
Alright, sorry.
Okay, we're immediately taking a turn into, like, less human, but I have more humans on the list. And it is the kitchen from the Starless Sea.
No, you're so right for that. I nearly put the bees.
I knew that Morgan would agree with me on this one, I had to say it. So the kitchen is basically just bees, right? The kitchen is basically revealed to also be the bees. However, the kitchen writes little sweet notes to Zachary, sends him muffins, cares about whether or not he potentially has a gluten allergy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very simple man. If you're going to make me baked goods, and you're going to be like, I can make you a gluten-free version of the baked goods,
Incredible.
then I'm ready to marry you. I don't really care if you're just a large collection of bees. Like, there's nothing I won't do for a croissant.
Especially, like, if you imagine, like, a magically created, like, perfect gluten-free croissant, like...
The best croissant that you've ever had.
That's husband material right there.
Exactly. Even if your husband is, like, many, many bees. That's okay.
Sometimes marriage is between a man and a woman. Sometimes it's between someone and several bees.
And also they're, like, cat-sized bees, if I remember correctly, or possibly even bigger. But that's
We've
fine.
all listened to Magnus Archives, and we support the guy who married his beetle wife that's actually just, like, thousands of bees in a trench coat.
That episode isn't even scary, man. He's just like, I love my beetle wife, and everyone's like, that's so weird of you.
He literally just loves his wife. Like, God forbid men have hobbies.
God forbid men have beetle wives.
So that's my second hear me out, which I think is still respectable.
Yeah. So my second hear me out is technically still a person.
Strong start.
So it's Aaron from the God Killer series, but
He's on
specifically
my list as well.
specifically the twig doll version of him. There's just something about a man made of twigs who could go up at any moment and is kind of evil, but also hot. And also a bedraggled, pathetic wet cat who's in love with his best friend. Sorry.
Well, I've put Aaron so much higher up on my list that I feel like Morgan's gonna, like, escalate into the stratosphere before I'm ready. But that's fine.
Were you also thinking of Stickman Aaron, or were you thinking of,
I
like...
was kind of just thinking of Aaron in general. I wasn't not thinking of Stickman Aaron.
I would say Aaron, like, personality aside, and we do somewhat forgive him for going a little bit weird in the first two books, because I feel like he does redeem himself at the end of the second. It's been a while since I've read the
I
second.
don't know. I feel like he's doing too much fascism for me to be able to say, hear me out, without following up with a hear me out. Like, you know, his middle child syndrome was so bad that he did fascism about it, and I'm still like, listen. I don't think I could fix him, but I just think he would be motivated by his heartbreak, and therefore be entertaining.
He did some wild blasphemy in a world where gods literally exist.
I think also I love a good stick person because I read Cuckoo Song by Frances Hardinge at a very formative age, and so I'm like, but the stick person has feelings. The stick person was real. The stick person believed it was real and then was destroyed and thrown away.
Sticks are people too.
Sticks are people too.
I want to lovingly nurture the stick person. I want to teach him that he is worth something. I'm also very deeply in my 911 buck feelings, so I'm like, a person who was born to only be worth something because of somebody else, and then they failed at that job and they were thrown away.
I have lived with primary school teachers for too long, and so my brain is just going to the Julia Donaldson book, Stickman.
Oh my god. That's gotta be somebody's hear me out. Well, someone else that's probably done some war crimes who's on my list. Which I think, again, you know, in terms of attractiveness, not a wild take at all, but in terms of this is a bad idea. Angela Witt from Hooky, the mother of the twins, / Damien.
That's so real. That's so real.
Thank you. I just, listen. See, again, this isn't controversial, I'm on number 3. Does she want to kill me as a non-magic user? Probably.
But in the Hooky universe, could you make the argument that you would be a magic user, because this is a different universe?
And I do only wear black, and that's what wizards do in that universe, which is, so, obviously I already am one to some extent.
There we go.
So maybe... But she is married with children, so...
But she's also conventionally attractive, sorry.
She is conventionally attractive. I'm not saying she's not. That's why she's... To be fair, a lot of mine are... You know, a lot of them are imaginary, so what can I do?
There are shots of her covered in blood, Soren. We've all been there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Come on. She's literally got depression mist coming out of, like, her head.
See, this is where your definition of conventionally attractive might differ with some of our listeners. You know, the fact that she's ready to just, like, stab a young child's two parents in front of her own daughter and then kidnap her own daughter is, like, a little bit... That might be not good for some people.
God forbid women have hobbies.
I support women's wrongs.
I support her wrongs. That's why she's on my list. Okay, Morgan, who's your third?
Okay, well, keeping on theme with Hooky, the dragon from Hooky Volume 2.
Okay. Elaborate.
You know, it's just got, like, it's just so loyal. It just wants to be told what to do, and it was abandoned by the person who hatched it at a very young age, and it just wants to be loved and held, and it's a dragon.
In the universe where we're both in Hooky and I'm trying to romance, and you're trying to romance the dragon, we're enemies, because that dragon killed her husband. This is like a full...
You know, I'm just cuddling with the dragon, and it's keeping me warm at night, and I'm, like, playing it music, because in this world I know how to play music, and we're sitting by the fire together in the desert, and it's cute and soft.
I love this for you.
There we go.
I'm bringing us back to the Starless Sea for my fourth pick. And again, this is someone who I think is probably objectively described as quite hot, but again, it's about the crimes. And it's Allegra, the villain from the Starless Sea, / the painter. She has like a Mrs. Coulter vibe, but in a less murdering children way, which makes me more comfortable with being like, listen, a one-night stand with Allegra, of course I would. Who wouldn't? You'd be mad not to. But yeah, I mean, look, Allegra does, like, try to murder people, and seems against, you know, she's safeguarding information that should be available for all, but listen, she has, like, a cool fur coat.
I feel like she's got a bit of an I can fix her vibe, which
I don't think I could fix her, I just...
you can make her worse.
I don't think I could even make her worse, I just think we could have a specific experience. I could meet her at the masquerade, and we could have a little dance, and then we could go back to her very fancy hotel room, and then the next day she would, like, throw me out.
She would, like, use you to get information out of you, and you'd be happy about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's real.
I know my utility. Morgan, who's your number 4?
My number 4, I'm gonna go with Mogget from Sabriel, who is the thousands-of-year-old cat demon, but is not always a cat.
No, sometimes they have, like, a cool demon form, right?
Specifically also because, having read the second book in the series now, I know that it's, like, it, like, gives itself a different, like, appearance depending on the person that it's serving. So I'm like, it could be anything.
That's, like, customizable, especially if you only have horses.
I'm always down for, like, a kind of, like, shapeshifter kind of vibe.
Exactly. And, you know, he's brimming with evil, and he also likes scritches. What more do you want?
He's got the, like, sarcastic, like, I'm helping you because I have to, and I kind of want you to fail, but also I kind of need you to succeed vibe.
It's the evil
Yeah.
degradation trope. It's like how Spike from Buffy is initially, like, just evil, and then slowly is like, I'm evil, and they're like, okay, sure.
Just a little pat on the head.
It's like, I could bite you. Okay, Spike. Okay.
You won't.
You're gonna babysit my sister now, so have fun.
I respect this choice. This is a good choice.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
I think now we're getting into, like, this is a person who you can't really make apologies for, probably. And also, this is a person who would not be interested in me, but my next one was Chu Chong Ma from She Who Became the Sun. They are another fascist, which we don't like this pattern, and we're not going to examine it live on this podcast. And they are also, like, a child murderer.
Only one child, though.
But they're confident.
Exactly.
Exactly. You know, and they have, like, charisma.
Canonically good in bed.
That's also true, you know, and that probably plays a role in why I was on this list. I don't think that they would want to sleep with me. I feel like I should make that very clear. However, just as a theoretical concept, you know they would be good. They would be so good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The child murder aside, they would be so good.
Exactly.
In another world where, like, the child murder didn't happen and they were just, like, an extremely ambitious, like... I don't want to say politician because I feel like that would actually give them less points than a child murder. I can excuse
Oofed.
child murder, but I draw the line at being involved in politics.
Yeah, the politics would also... Like, they would be a terrible, like, lover. They would be very busy all the time.
Yeah.
And also, like, nearly getting themselves killed and stuff.
They would be a good lover, they would be a terrible partner.
Yes, true, yes.
And I think this is relevant to the Hear Me Out cake, where there is a difference between lover and partner. And I think Hear Me Out cake is very much lover and not partner.
Yeah, just, like, a particular experience.
Unless...
Partner, lover, just, you know, I appreciate the aesthetic, you know? It's like the fact that, you know, gender can be a cloud, you know? Attraction to an arrow. I'm beyond your petty need for a body. I go on vibes.
Morgan, what's your next one?
I'm trying to go with the more normal one to begin with. I'm going to go with the angel creature from Pet. You know, it's got wings, it's righteous fury, it's got wings, you know?
Incredibly good choice.
You have to, like, bleed into a painting to summon it, which I think is kind of like sex.
You know, not so sexy that it's got my mother's hands, but, you know...
Well, does it have to? I feel like they didn't in the prequel, all of them, did they? So, I think they can take slightly different forms, so hopefully not that bit. Just leave that bit out. That would be very unsexy. I can't imagine anything worse. And also the fact that if you look at them directly, it's like too powerful and you can't handle that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
I think that's one of my more objectively sexy ones.
Yeah.
One of the ones where I've been like, yeah, it's because it's got wings, okay? Like, sue me. You know, I've been on that tag on AO3.
If there was, like, a TV show of this thing and there was a visual representation of it, it would be a thirst trap.
Exactly.
Like, people would be making fan cams of it.
Exactly.
I feel like you should give us another one, Morgan, because I had to skip Aaron because I'd already done Aaron.
Okay, we're getting real abstract now. I'm going to go with my one book one, which is not from a book that we've done, but we have talked about extensively. So, my next Hear Me Out is Cabe's Water, the forest, the sentient forest from the Raven Cycle.
This is a very good choice. I can only respect this. I have a similar pick coming up.
It's literally Ronan's lesbian mum. Like, it literally is.
Amazing.
It looks after him. It speaks Latin. It's like trying to ship him with his boyfriend before he's even with his boyfriend.
I would like to say, as someone who hasn't read this book series, I have so many more questions after finishing this episode.
You know what you should do?
I'm going to match that energy, in fact, actually, and say, jumping off of that, Garden from This Is How You Lose the Time War.
That's so real.
I
Thank
thought you were
you.
going to say the lake from Lake Lore for a hot second.
I've got the lake from Lake Lore on my list!
Spoilers! I need to, like, know whatever's going on with Garden. I need to, like, have my memories be pollen and honey and chlorophyll through leaves. It just feels like a time. I just want to experience that.
It's the sublime.
Honestly, it sounds like my friends who have been on shrooms. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's like that kind of like interconnectedness. Whoa.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh my god. And then I looked at the bird, and
They know
I
you
was
were
the
there.
bird. And the But yeah, Garden. I would love that. I don't know what I would love, but I think I would love it.
Well, jumping off from that,
Yeah, tell us why the lake? Although we all know in our hearts.
the lake from Lake Lore, you know? It's dependable. It's there.
It's a trans ally.
It's a trans ally. It has cool little creatures.
I believe that lake is trans. I don't have to explain myself, I think.
Yeah, no. It supports the gender forecast.
Also, it will help you, like, process your issues, I feel like. Like, it will give you a little therapeutic lesson.
It's
You
T
know?
for T. It supports neurodiversity.
There's like also the inherent eroticism of like being surrounded by water and just like floating and being like, I'm one with the water.
Oh yeah, we literally did a whole episode on like water and queerness. So, you know.
For those who are listening to this and being like, what? Yes, it's on our Patreon, and it's about sapphicness and water, and also queerness in general on water. Go listen to it. Well, sort of jumping off of that, but kind of the opposite of that, like, emotionally, I also have Commandant from This Is How You Lose the Time War on
So
here.
fair. So fair.
For, like, the opposite reason that Garden is on here, but also the same reason. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
It's not, I'm not beating the, like, there's a lot of weird fascism things on this list. Like, allegations at all. But, listen.
That's why we're hearing them out.
Exactly. Look, military is like a very common fixation for people, even if in real life they think militaries are evil and should all not exist.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
There's a reason why the saying is everyone loves a man in uniform.
Exactly. But just like theoretically in uniform and not really, unless it's a fireman's uniform, maybe.
You know, I have a great show for you.
Exactly. Morgan, who else have you got?
I'm going to go with my one that isn't from books. It's from a TV show. And that is the Nemeton from Teen Wolf. Which, for those who don't know, is the stump of an ancient oak in the woods that is a beacon to magical creatures and is protective of the magical creatures there, but also is not human and does not really understand what the correct thing to do is and does tend to haunt the narrative actively.
I do love I need to protect you, but I do not fundamentally understand you, and so my idea of protection is not good.
Yeah, and also, you know, I was very active on the AO3 tag on Teen Wolf, you know, and, you know, when you bring in magic into a show, and then you also have a sentient tree that is connected to the magic user, you get some very creative smart. I'll say that much, you know?
I've not actually come across any of that, which surprises me, given that I've spent a fair amount of time in the Teen Wolf tag. Not as much as you by any means. not comparable at all. But I've been in there, and I didn't see that. Okay, I have a locked tune pick, and it's not Yanthe.
If you say Nibirius Turn, I'm gonna cry.
If you say Jod,
Not
I'm going
Nibirius.
to leave.
It's also not God. I did consider him, and then I was like, no. It might be worse than that. It's St. Augustine.
That's a conventionally attractive man.
He's described as like an old, decrepit man. I don't know.
Is he?
That's just because you're on the old man website. He is. He's described as old. Like, no, he's described as like old and not necessarily. He's described as elegant, which I'll take that.
That sounds more like who's the sexy necromancer from the new Dragon Age?
Oh, I don't remember his name.
But like that kind of like silver fox like vibe rather than like old man.
Yeah. Whereas I just feel like St. Augustine is also like quite an unpleasant person. I just feel like I can't justify this. That's all, you know.
I mean, he again canonically gets it a lot.
He does, but it's like with a particular set of people that are also equally.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like everyone around him is as bad as he is.
I'm pretty sure our Locked Tomb guest Zoe is like obsessed with Augustine.
He's going to understand what I mean. However, I'm not sure if the general public will be like, yeah, August. Of all the characters in that series, if you're going to pick someone, why would you pick Augustine?
If you're gonna pick someone, you pick Calamities. Anyway, carry on.
I'm going to switch out one of mine for another Locked Tomb character. And this is going to be a human person. Whoa, everybody hold the applause. I'm going to go with Teacher.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, I need you to elaborate. Kit apparently gets it.
Yeah, no, I get it. Teachers. Oh wait, hang on. No, I'm thinking of someone else. No, you're wrong and bad.
He's literally just a guy. He's an old guy. He has a purpose, but he's been left behind by the world. He's been staying in this palace for 10,000 years. He's a construct of over 100 souls. He just wants to drink and die, and they won't even let him do that. He's so relatable. He goes down the corridors at 3 a.m. going, wouldn't it be a shame if someone were to kill me? Oh my god. And then skips around with like a bottle of wine. Like, he's so real.
I think my problem is I want to be him more than I want to be with him.
The line blurs when you're Arroways.
The reason why I was like yes so fervently, I got confused. Thought you were talking about the is it Aim in Nona, who's like the cool teacher?
Oh yeah, Aim's chill.
I was like, yeah, no, I would. But then, yeah, no, teacher from book 1.
Should I say my final? Oh my god.
Yeah.
So again, this is somebody who's probably conventionally attractive. They don't really have a canon appearance, because this is actually my non-book choice. This is a character from the Bright Sessions. However, I think for my personal morals, this is a hear me out. And you may have already guessed what I'm going to say, but it's Wadsworth.
Okay, no, I didn't. I thought you were going to say Damien.
No, Damien, I wouldn't.
But Wadsworth is so real.
What? Thank you, because listen, like, obviously Mark is my favourite character, so I have, like, a fundamental objection to Wadsworth as a human. However, you know? And also, she never got over Dr. Bright, so she's going to take that out on whoever she's with. And that could be terrible, or it could be really good. You know? That's my ultimate hear me out, because I feel like I'm betraying my own principles by saying it. However, anyone who's heard the Bright Sessions has heard her voice, and they know what I mean.
Literally, voice alone, I'd be like, absolutely yes. That's not even a hear me out.
Right? Exactly. Morgan, who's your ultimate hear me out?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna go with the human. This is also from the Raven Cycle, so I apologize. But it's Colin Greenmantle.
Really?
Yeah, that's my hear
Colin
me
does
out.
nothing for me. Like, I just don't...
It's specifically, there's this one scene where he's home alone, drinking out of a wine bottle and feeling sorry for himself and being like, I hope somebody stumbles in on me looking like a pathetic man drinking out of a wine bottle. And there's something just so relatable about that. I just love a pathetic man, okay? Like, I could make him worse and also destroy him in the palm of my hand, you know?
Yeah, I think if it's a pathetic man for me, it needs to be a pathetic man like Aaron, who has like a fake,
Like a facade kind of thing.
like a veneer
Yeah.
of success. Yeah, facade. I need like a inferiority superiority complex. I can't just deal with the like wallowing.
You know, in like the Avengers film where Loki is like clearly having the worst day of his entire life, and yet is still doing the like, I am a god. It's like, no, I can see you've been like through 7 layers of torture, and like
But that's conventionally attractive.
he's conventionally attractive, but he is a poor little meow meow.
Yeah. Whereas Colin Greenmantle is also not conventionally attractive, I don't think. I can't remember. And also is pathetic. Is just a guy. So that's why he has to be a hear me out, because he's just a guy. And he's not even that interesting.
Yeah, I feel like that's what gets me about him. I'm just like, I don't really care whether this man lives or dies. I'm not gonna...
The fact his name is Colin is already enough of a hear me out for me. I'm sorry.
Okay, but Greenmantle. Greenmantle is such a...
Greenmantle is a surname that should have been given to a cooler person than the person whose first name is Colin.
Also, his wife is really hot, so you know.
That's our cake, though, I guess.
Yeah, a delicious and nutritious cake.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know if that was delicious to anybody else. But do you agree with us? There are comments on Spotify now. You have to tell us if you agree with us, or if you think that we're wrong and that we should, you know, retire forever and never put out another podcast again. I think that's fair enough, if that's how you feel.
Oh, join the Discord. Send us your hear me outs.
Oh my god, please. Yes, I'm definitely going to ask people in the Discord. Do you have an idea of which of us is worse, Kit? I feel like those were just so different.
I think the word worse is not the best way to put it. I think Soren is the most basic.
Okay, I'll take that.
Brackets affectionate. Because I think you had the most actual human beings who were just terrible people.
There were a lot of humans on the list, yeah.
Conventionally attractive humans.
Yeah.
Again, I feel like you're in a little bit of a bubble.
I've been warped by years of Tumblr, and so to me it's like a war crime is like, ooh, spicy.
Yeah, exactly. And I am basic, I'll take it. You know, you know, one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of the fairy books by Sarah J. Maas is because I don't like Reese very much. Because I'm like, you know what, he's done some things that I'm not into for a love interest.
I was so basic, I refused to take part in this exercise because all my picks were extremely basic.
I had some basics that I didn't put. I have both Jack and Edwin from the Last Binding trilogy on my honourable mentions list of like they're a romance novel. I can't pick them, even though I think there's a lot wrong with them, and I also think that you're trying to be stupid to date. That's the end of today's episode. However, we're not leaving you guys forever. We are coming back in just 2 weeks with Faithbreaker, the final book in the Godkiller trilogy. Of course, India will be joining us again for that. So that's going to be good fun. Please look forward to it. For the second half of Disability Pride Month, we're going to have D.N. Bryn, author of various indie novels, including How to Bite Your Neighbour and Win a Wager, to talk about disability in romance fiction with us. And that will be out on July 28th. So that should be fun, interesting. A little bit of a spin on what we've talked about before. And then, Morgan, do you want to tell them what we're bringing back for August?
Everybody, get ready. It's Moist Month 2.0.
Moist Month, the sequel.
Moist Month, the moistening.
Too moist, 2 months.
I think that's what we should call it. And if all goes to plan, we will be starting Moist Month with Running Close to the Wind by Alexandra Rowland. And that will be out on August 11th. And then we will close out the month with Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. And that will be with Alex Abrahams. And then we'll let you know about what's happening for our autumn type reads in September. But we already have plans.
There will be swords. There will be other things. There will be more things. It's all to play for.
Also, I realised that, like, at the beginning of this episode, there's, like, a major announcement that we probably should have made. Or that you should have made, Morgan. If
Me?
you want to. Yeah.
What?
Do you want to tell people about WriteNow?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess I am one of Penguin's WriteNow authors for 2025, which means that I am being supported by an editor at Penguin for a year and get to have some meetings with him to write my YA trans portal fantasy book. Exciting!
Guys, it's so good. I've only read, like, very, very small bits of it, but I'm obsessed with it.
It's got, it's got a bit of romance. It's got a lot of romance. It's got trans angst. It's got portal fantasy angst. It's got, wow, the first term of uni is really traumatizing her. It's got everything.
Those are all of my favourite things.
Woo!
But on that note, if you want to read more about all the cool stuff that Morgan and the rest of the cohort is doing, we will put all of the links in the show notes so that you can find out about the cool projects that they are working on.
It's all underrepresented writers. Got some very cool people and some very cool books that are on the horizon that I get to hear about, which is very exciting, ahead of time.
And we will definitely update you when there's updates to be had on that front.
Yeah.
I feel like we should be like, thank you for listening to us for 3 years.
Yeah.
Maybe you haven't been. But even if you've only been listening to us for 5 seconds, thank you for listening to us for 5 seconds.
Yeah. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being on this queer journey with us.
Exactly. And also, I hope you're okay at the moment. Everything's insane.
Yeah.
I hope that you're finding escapism / catharsis / community within the books that you're reading, and that those are making life a little bit more bearable.
Yeah. Reading is political, but it is also escapism. These can both be true, and they are true at all times.
And if you ever want more queer book recs, or just to talk to some queer readers, come shout to us on Discord, because we're there. And also not just us, like other cool queer people that read books.
Yeah.
And probably also some straight people, I don't know.
Past guests of the show, if you've enjoyed listening to the show and you want to talk to some of the people who have been on the show, some of them are in the Discord.
Yes.
Zoe's in there a lot, actually. We've been speaking about Zoe a lot this episode. Zoe's in the Discord a lot.
MVP Zoe.
So we already told you guys that we're doing Faithbreaker next, so that will be out on Monday, July 14th.
Until then, you're always welcome to the bookcase.
Don't forget to scratch the cat on your way out. Thank you for listening to this special 3rd anniversary episode of The Hidden Bookcase, a production of Planar Prod. On this episode, you heard Kit Lovick, Morgan Greensmith, and Soren Briarwood. You can find The Hidden Bookcase on Twitter and Blue Sky at Hidden Bookcase, and on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, and TikTok at Hidden Bookcase Podcast. Find out more about Planar Prod at planarprod.com. Know what we should read next? Or want to chat to us about what you thought of this episode? You can reach us at thehiddenbookcase@gmail.com, send us a DM on social media, or come chat with your fellow bookworms in our growing Discord server. The link is in the show notes. Want to support The Hidden Bookcase? Support us on Patreon for bonus episodes, audio outtakes, playlists, and other extras. Buy a book through our bookshop.org page, or consider leaving us a rating or review or telling a friend how to find us. Your whispers are the best way for bookworms to discover our show. For our next episode, which will be out on July 14th, we're finally finishing up Hannah Kaner's Fallen Gods trilogy, discussing Faithbreaker with returning guest India Reads a Lot. We hope to see you then, and in the meantime, you're always welcome through the bookcase.